All right, and what would you put at the top of this paper or somewhere on this paper to help you remember the trig functions? Okay, SOHCAHTOA. Okay, let's put that up there. SOHCAHTOA.
I just want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
You too. All right. So what does this help us remember? You don't know?
No, cosine tangent.
Good. Sine. So sine of the angle relates the opposite side to the hypotenuse side length. Cosine of the angle equals the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. And tangent of the angle relates the opposite side to the adjacent side. So I like to write this anytime I know that I'm going to use these relationships with the sides of the triangle. I like to write that at the top of my paper or have it on a note card because this is how we're going to get these problems done. Making sure we choose the right relationship. Okay, we're just going to start right at the top with the first one. So we're going to mark the angle. They give us angle 19 degrees. And then let's label the sides that we have. We can label all the sides, but let's just label the ones that we have so that it doesn't get as confusing. So what would x be considered? Perfect. So let's label that one. That one's opposite. And what do we have over here? Is this going to be the hypotenuse or the adjacent? Good, it's adjacent. How do you know? Okay, good, it's shorter. The hypotenuse is always longer, and the hypotenuse is always across from the 90. And if we wanted to, we could label the hypotenuse. I'm going to leave it off for now, because if I just have the two sides that are labeled, then I can decide which trig function I need to use. So I have the opposite side and the adjacent side. So which trig function do I need to pick? I think I heard it. What? Sorry? So sine relates the opposite and the hypotenuse. So close. It has opposite, but it doesn't have the hypotenuse. So what other one? Opposite and adjacent. Good, tangent. So we need to use the tangent of the angle. The angle needs to go inside here. Tangent of 19 is equal to the opposite side. That's x. Over the adjacent side, which is 14. So we are looking for this side length. We want to know how long this side x is. So we have this set up. Now we just need to do some algebra. We need to get x by itself. So how are we going to do that? We have x divided by 14. What's the opposite of divide by 14? Good, multiply by 14. So I'm going to do that. Multiply by 14 on this side. Multiply by 14 on this side. So 14 times tangent of 19 degrees is that side length that we're looking for. Let me grab a calculator. And again, make sure your calculator is in degrees, whatever calculator you're using. And then I just type this in, 14 times the tangent of the angle, and parentheses, and then I push enter. And we're going to round to the nearest tenth here, so we're going to go to the hundredths place, the second decimal. this 2, that's less than 5. So I can just round down to 4.8. So that side length is 4.8. Okay, questions on that? So notice this pattern. If x is on the top, all we do is we just multiply the tangent or the sine function or the cosine of the angle by that other side. So we multiply. If the x is on the top, we're going to multiply. Okay? So math is a lot of patterns. This is a pattern. Okay, let me look through. There's one more pattern that we need to look at. Let's do number 5. Number 5, the x ends up on the bottom. So we have this angle, so always mark that angle that you're given. We have 47. So what would 10 be? We need to label our sides. Good, perfect. So 10 is the opposite. And what would x be? Good, it's the adjacent. Okay, so what function will we use if we are relating the opposite side to the adjacent side? Good, tangent. So I'm going to write that out. I'm going to say tangent of the angle is 47, is, and then I can look at my notes up here. It says tangent is the opposite side on top over the adjacent side. So I'm going to scoot back down here. So I need the opposite side, which is 10, over the adjacent side, which is x. So right now, the x is on the bottom. So we can think about this a few different ways. I'm going to do the long way first. So the long way is we're going to multiply both sides by x to get x off of the bottom. It's hard to solve for x when x is on the bottom. So the first thing is multiply by x. So x divided by x cancels. Then we have x times tangent of 47, and that gives us 10. So now I need to do the opposite of multiply by tangent, 47. I'm going to divide both sides by tangent of 47. So now we can find x. X is 10 divided by tangent of 47. And then again, we're going to go to the second decimal. The second decimal is 2, which is less than 5. So we're going to round down to 9.3. 9.3. So our missing side is 9.3. Another way to do this is, so let's start again. We have tangent of the angle is 10 over x. Is this right? Let's see. We can switch the sides. We can just flip everything upside down. So this is really tangent over 1. So we can flip everything upside down. So we can say x over 10, I flipped this fraction upside down, equals 1 over tangent of 47. So I'm just inverting everything. And then x is on the top. And then I can just multiply both sides by 10. Multiply by both sides by 10. And I get the same thing. So 10 over tangent of 47 gives me x. That's the same thing. But sometimes that's a little bit easier to think about if you just flip both of the fractions and then move. Do you have a question? Oh, thank you.
Where the angle is on the inside, that's important that I start on.
That's true. Yep. Good point. The angle that's given is where you start. Yes. Okay, other questions? I think we should do 2 more. Is that okay? Let's do at least 2 more. Is there any that you want to do together? 2? Okay. So let's go back up to 2. So we have angle 71. So go ahead and mark 71. And then go ahead and you try, take a minute, mark the sides that we have. So what is x? What is 15? Okay, what did you mark x as? Perfect, opposite. Oh, so opposite because, can you explain to us how you decided that x was opposite? Good, that angle is kind of pointing at the opposite side. Good. Okay, thanks. And then 15. Good, hypotenuse. How do you know that? Good, good. This 90-degree angle is pointing to the hypotenuse. Perfect. Okay, so whatever you can figure out, little tips that help you remember, that's always good. All right, so what trig function are we going to use? Are we going to use sine, cosine, or tangent? Good, sine. Because we have the opposite and hypotenuse. So sine relates the opposite and hypotenuse. So we have sine of our angle. The angle goes inside of sine. And we need the opposite side over the hypotenuse. So x goes on top. Opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, question so far? All right, what's next? What are we going to do? We need to find x. How are we going to do that? Perfect. Times by 15, both sides. Times by 15. So 15 divided by 15, that's why we did that. It cancels out, gives us 1x. And we have 15 times sine of 71. So here's our pattern again. If x is on the top of our fraction, we're going to multiply. We just end up multiplying 15 times our function with our angle. Okay? And if x is on the bottom, then we take the number and divide it by the function. Okay, so let's type that in. So 15 times sine of 71. Okay, so we go to our second decimal, our hundredths. It's an 8. So what do we need to do? Good. Round up. Perfect. So we're going to round to x is 14.2. Okay. Okay, I'm going to pick one more that x ends up on the bottom because I think those are hard. Let's see. Let's do another one on the front. I think there's a lot of them on the front. Okay, let's try 6. Let's do 6. Are you okay with 6? Okay. So go ahead, we have this angle, 39. Go ahead and label the other sides. So we don't know what x is, but if you're confused, always look at this 90, and this 90 is pointing to the hypotenuse. Does that help? So x is our hypotenuse. Good. And what is 19? Good. Adjacent. Good. I think that one's hard to find, so good job. All right. What trig function are we going to use? We have adjacent and hypotenuse. Good, cosine. So we're going to do cosine of the angle. Cosine of 39 is the adjacent side, so 19, over the hypotenuse, which is x. So x is on the bottom. So which way was more helpful? Did you guys like multiplying by x on both sides or flipping? Same? Okay, so I'm just going to multiply x on both sides. So we've got x times cosine of 39, because I want that x off the bottom. It's hard to solve if it's on the bottom. So first move it off of the bottom. Now we have x times cosine of 39. We need to get x by itself. Do you remember what we're going to do? Good, divide. We're going to divide both sides by cosine of 39. And then x will be by itself. So now, cosine of 39 divided by cosine of 39, that gives us 1. So 1x is 19 over cosine of 39. So then we can plug that in. So 19 divided by cosine of 39, end parenthesis, gives us, and then we go to our hundredths. 4 is less than 5. So what should we round this to? I think I heard it, 24.4. You agree with that? Okay. All right, so here's our pattern. When x ends up on the bottom, we take that number and divide it by our trig function with our angle. So that's our pattern. Okay, questions? You guys think that you can do the rest of them? Okay. We have, how much time? We have about 40 minutes left. So I think you should be able to finish this. There is a key up here if you want to use that, and the key is also on Canvas.
This is after.